having the Ike line up, and that didn't work. So I straight up went for my saltwater Abu.
4 or 6 foot of water, money.
That's the one.
And those top hooks are gonna let them float it above that.
Yeah.
All the good stuff is still
iced up.
Crazy.
What the shot would look like. You know what I mean? Like you just in your mind, you're like.
We obviously have a bunch of dope things in here, but what caught my eye was a rack
Hard baits, and like every hard bait,
The case.
it's like this big. The t-shirt's like this big.
stories or sequences since then almost.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a trip.
Abe Brodzik, aka
Oh, yeah.
Fathead, aka Worf, aka Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
He was literally throwing